Wake up in the grind, clock ticking, 20 minutes flat, freedom main-handed, knives built where the real ones at.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 20-Minute Freedom Project. I'm Josh, and today's episode is You Are Not Special. You are not hopeless. You are a work in progress. This episode is not here to hype you up. It is here to wake you up. If you're easily offended, or you have an ego the size of a Mack truck, I am going to ruffle your feathers. If you think you are the shit, that no one can touch you, that you have it all figured out, sorry to tell you, but you're wrong. And if you think you're worthless, that you just can't win, that you are going to be behind forever, you guessed it, you're wrong too. Because both of these beliefs come from the same place, and that place is ego. One that is inflated, one that is deflated. But both will destroy you. Most people live their entire lives swinging between those two extremes. Some days they feel unstoppable. Other days they feel invisible. Some seasons they think they're ahead of everyone. Other seasons they think that they will never catch up, no matter how hard they try. And here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. You are not finished. You are not fixed. You are not going to be stuck here forever. You are in progress. And that goes for all of us. And the moment you forget that, when you start believing you have arrived, or when you decide you are broken beyond any kind of repair, that is the moment that growth stops. And when growth stops, everything starts to die. Your confidence, your discipline, your relationships, your business, your faith, your leadership. I have lived on both sides of this. I have had seasons where I walked into rooms thinking I was ahead of everybody in the room. I had outworked them, and I deserved to be here more than they did. And I've had other seasons where I did not even want to walk into that room. I didn't want to face anybody, where I questioned everything, where I felt so far behind that there was no catching up. Late, underskilled, underprepared. In both those instances, I was the same person, just running different stories. Here's what I learned the hard way, though. When you think you're untouchable, you stop listening. You stop sharpening the blade. You coast. And coasting feels fine at first, until you look up one day and you realize that everyone else kept moving. On the flip side, when you think you are nothing, you hesitate, you play small, you wait for permission, and while you are waiting, life ultimately passes you by. Both mindsets lead to the same outcome, and that is stagnation. The world does not reward ego. It does not rescue insecurity. It only responds to effort, consistency, growth, and what value you bring to the market. There will always be someone stronger than you, someone smarter than you, further ahead than you. And there will always be someone watching you, thinking, man, I wish I was where he is. That's never going to change. What changes is whether you stay in the fight, continue to improve, or do you quit? There's a concept in psychology called Dunning-Kruger effect. People with low skill tend to overestimate themselves, and people with high skills tend to underestimate themselves. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't really know. That is why true confidence is quiet and fake confidence is loud. I'm sure you've always been in a room where the loudest person in the room is usually the person that is the most insecure and lacks confidence the most. They put on a good show, but ultimately, behind the scenes, they're struggling and they're putting on a facade. Jim Collins talks about this in Good to Great. He describes level 5 leaders as people who combine extreme personal humility with intense professional will. Not arrogance, not self-hatred, but clarity. Growth is not optional. Dr. Carol Dweck, I can't remember exactly, and I'm sure I butchered her name. So if she happens to listen, I am sorry. She has research on the growth mindset that shows people who believe abilities can be developed outperform those who believe the talent is fixed. Why? Because effort compounds, skills stack, momentum builds. And the second you decide, this is just who I am, whether it's that belief is positive or negative, you have just capped your potential. As James Clear says in the book Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. You fall to the level that you are most comfortable with. Weapons are not built in a moment. They are forged over time. They have lots of time and effort that go into them. You just don't pull up one day and say, that is the weapon that I have created. And it took me no time at all. There is tons of pressure, repetition, intention, and that is how the weapon becomes the strongest it can be. Now let's make it practical. The weapon builder framework. There are 3 simple rules. Rule 1, you're going to stay dangerous and stay humble. The goal is not to feel superior over anybody. The goal is to stay sharp. The moment you think that no one can beat me, you stop training. You stop caring. You think that you know it all. The words, I know, become so repetitious in your language that everyone can see the fact that your quote-unquote I know means that you truly know nothing and you're not willing to learn or grow. Mike Tyson has a famous quote that is, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Oh, how that rings so true in everyday life. The one who stays consistent and keeps improving is the one that will ultimately win. Every person I respect, every leader I admire, lives with that mindset. There is always another rep, another lesson, another level. You have to stay confident and you have to stay hungry. Rule number 2, keep your foot on the gas. There is no neutral in your life. You are either growing or you are decaying. Physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, doesn't matter. You do not accidentally become strong. You do not accidentally build a great marriage. You do not accidentally create the freedom that you desire. And you do not accidentally build the business that you have dreamed of and that you want in your life. You push, you train, you persevere. You show up when motivation is completely gone, when you're sick, when you're tired, when you don't want to. Because motivation is not the engine, discipline is. Rule 3, measure against yourself, not the world. We can all hop on Instagram and do some doom scrolling, and we can measure our lives against anyone else we see. But that is the quickest way to feel insecure and not where you want to be. Because comparison will wreck you. There will always be someone ahead of you. There will always be someone behind you. The only real metric is what you produce. Am I better than last year, last month, last week, yesterday? If the answer is yes, you're winning. If the answer is no, you do not quit. You adjust. You change your systems. You change your framework. You change the way you are looking at everything. You start showing up because the job is never finished. And it's not a curse. It's a privilege. And it's your duty. That is what produces real freedom. And as always, going along with the framework, I have a challenge for you. And that challenge for this week is to get brutally honest on where you are. Grab your notebook, grab a pen, or open up your phone and open that notes app. Ask yourself 3 questions. Where have I gotten complacent because I think I'm ahead? Where have I been holding back because I think I am behind? You're going to ask those questions in each area of your life. In your fitness, in your business, in your finances, your marriage or relationship, your faith. Then you are going to an area that you struggle with the most. And you're going to ask yourself, what does becoming better look like in this area? We're not saying perfect. We're not saying elite. We're not saying you're trying to get there overnight. You're trying to get there sharper. You are trying to be sharper and be better than you were yesterday. Not against someone else's measurement, but yours. You have to use your own viewpoint. This is what I did yesterday. How am I going to do better tomorrow? And then you're going to act. 1 rep, 1 decision, 1 You are not going to wait to feel ready. True legends are built in the fire. The bonus on this challenge is if you really, really want to level up and are not scared of how you're going to feel and how much struggle you're going to go through, you are going to pick 3 of the areas that you struggle with the most. Those lowest 3, you are going to take those 3 and you're going to improve them by 5% this week. And you have to make this measurable. You have to extrapolate it out, find out what you actually would consider 5%. I don't know what that is for you, but you're going to take that, figure that 5% out, and you are going to do it this week. You are going to improve that area by at least 5%. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. But if you are stuck in a rut and you've been there for some time now and you're looking for a way to get out, You are going to go through hell. But the change you will see and feel on the other side, it will give you that small win that you need to keep pushing through, to see the effort and the results of your actions. In closing, you are not special. You are not hopeless. You are a work in progress. Just like me, just like everybody else in this world. The second you quit growing is the second your life starts passing you by. If you want a life that you live on your terms, if you want that freedom, that respect, that impact, to become the example to those around you, to become the best version of yourself, then commit to this. Become a legend. And never stop. Because freedom is not found. It's built one rep at a time. If this episode has spoken to you, made you think, or given you the kick in the ass you needed, share it out. And help someone else get that spark. Or make them think. Or maybe help give them the kick in the ass that they need to level up. And until next time, don't stop chasing your potential and become the person that you know you can be. And I will catch you guys on the next one.